Hello. You're listening to Questboard, a podcast where we make up random side quests. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Tiffany. And just so you know, we are not professional writers in any way, shape, or form. At least we don't claim to be. We just really like tabletop RPGs, and we do this for fun.
That's right. How are you, Tiff?
I'm doing good. I've had some tea. I'm happy today.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Some soothing, relaxing tea.
With tons of sugar in
We don't talk about that part.
it. Normally I drink
It's
tea
the
without sugar.
delusion that you're doing good. Like, oh,
Right.
I'm eating a salad. I'm healthy when it's drenched in ranch.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm healthy. It's the delusion that you're healthy. Come on.
No, I just like tea personally, and usually when I drink tea, I drink it for the flavor of the tea itself. But when you go to Dutch Bros and get their tea with all the flavor syrups in it, yeah, it's not as healthy. It's good tea though.
That kind of reminds me of how, like, why I drink alcohol. I drink alcohol for the taste. I don't drink to get drunk.
Right.
I limit myself a lot, and so I usually try to just drink what I like to drink.
Have you ever tried drinking non-alcoholic beers?
I don't like the taste of beer.
Okay, that's fair.
They do make I like the taste of whiskey, of tequila, any mixed cocktails, and like that stuff.
Do
I
they
like
make
the taste of it.
non-alcoholic versions of that where you don't have to worry about it, or
I don't know.
that'd be interesting to look into. Hey, let us know if there's really good non-alcoholic liquors out there.
It's hard because it doesn't taste the same, you know?
Right. It's the alcohol that makes the flavor.
It's a part of the flavor.
Which is why I don't drink it, because just the smell alone makes me want to run out of the room.
Well, my sister-in-law does not like whiskeys at all.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks it smells and tastes, except for Fireball. And I hate Fireball. Because
My dad
it's very
likes Fireball.
cheap. It's very cheap whiskey that burns and like it's just masked with cinnamon, very strong cinnamon.
I'd probably hate it.
And so I'm just like, I went through the phase. I'm tired of it. I've been to college. And now I'm just like, I want more expensive sipping whiskeys and all that stuff.
Gotcha. My dad has been known to make a Fireball and Coke.
I can picture that.
He also does Crown and Coke.
Crown Royal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I one of my favorite drinks is, this is for people out there who drink responsibly.
Please do.
Crown Royal, and there's like a maple syrup flavor.
I know
Crown
that
Royal.
one.
I mix that with like a bottle of just regular Angry Orchard's hard cider. Combined, it's like a maple syrupy apple juice.
I would try maple syrup apple cider.
It's really good, and it's
That sounds
combining a hard cider plus whiskey, so it hits you hard.
I can imagine.
Harder.
Well, I can barely imagine because I don't know if I've talked about this on here. I don't drink.
I think we discussed this during our chain of alcohol quests.
Okay, yeah.
Of like Qualify 3.
Then did I also mention that the word for that is teetotaler? I do not partake of alcoholic beverages.
I mean, to each their own.
Yeah, but that's what that word means, and I like it because it has tea in it, because I do partake of tea, which is where this all began.
Actually, also speaking of your dad and alcohol, I introduced him to the peanut butter whiskey.
He really liked that. He thought it was super good.
I liked it at first, and then after a while, it was too sweet for me. So then it was like a trek on finishing it.
He likes sweet, which is funny because my mom doesn't like sweet things. So it's a really funny combo. He likes like a Riesling wine, and she likes
a dry wine.
Not dry. I'm trying to remember what kind she likes. She has a very specific brand and type of wine that she likes. And she only ever drinks that one type of wine. And people know to get it for her, but I can't remember which one it is that she likes.
I don't know wines myself. I don't drink wine.
The only reason I know what a Riesling is because my mom talks about hating it a lot. Yeah. But she likes Kendall Jackson wine to the point where her dog's name is Jackson. She wanted to get 2 dogs, and guess what the other one was going to be named?
Oh, I wonder. Some people do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I've heard about like people of the South naming their son Jack after Jack Daniels.
Right. Well, it's really funny though because my previous roommate's nephew's name is also Jackson. So we had to clarify if we were talking about human Jackson or dog Jackson.
Mm, I think I've seen that online before too. Where do you know the company Rooster Teeth? You
Yes,
do know,
I
yeah,
do.
Ruby
Yeah,
and
I
all
like
that stuff.
Ruby.
Oh, side note, did you hear that they're coming back?
Yes, I'm very excited.
One of the original owners like bought back the company.
And they're restarting up everything. I'm so excited to see what they do.
I don't know. It might start off small and they're not gonna make anything.
That's totally okay. I'm on board.
I'll wait to see what they make.
Right.
Anyways, I remember back when I did watch them, it was like many years ago, one of the original founders named Gus, and they on their podcast they would talk about like someone's dog was named Gus as well.
Mm-hmm.
In which then every time they brought the dog to the office, he's thinking they're calling out to him.
Oh no.
And I'm like, yeah, this is what happens when you name like your dog a person name.
Right. I heard a story one time about a girl whose dog had a human name who then started dating a guy with the same name as her dog. And it just got awkward from there.
Right.
But it's so funny. That's why I don't give animals human names.
I already know what my first, if I get a female dog, I already know what name I'm going to give her.
What?
Ellie.
Aw, that's a human name though.
I know. But this is a weird like road we're going down. But my first dog, my ideal dog.
It's rabbit trailing
I think
time.
I've told you before, maybe. My ideal dog, which is expensive, is a dog crossbreed between a golden retriever and a German shepherd.
Mm.
And because I saw a picture of a puppy where it was like sitting with the head shape and pointy ears like a German shepherd and short hair, but all the hair is golden like a golden retriever, and it looks so adorable.
That sounds beautiful.
But that's expensive for like a specific dog breed like that. But I was like, I fell in love with just the picture of the puppy. I'm like, I want him so bad.
That
And if it's
sounds really
a female, I was gonna like name him Ellie. Name her Ellie.
Yeah. And that sounds like a really good combo too. Both very good, loyal dogs.
Yeah, smart, loyal dogs. The golden retriever could be like very more chill and like cuddly, relaxed home dogs.
Another really good combo, because I only know this because growing up, my dad had 3 of them, all at different times, but they were German Shepherd, Black Lab. Extremely loyal, extremely smart, very good dogs. All 3 of them he named General because he didn't want to come up with a new name for each one.
I don't know about naming a dog based off a previous dog. You know what I mean?
Right. I find that a little awkward, but I mean, he loved his dog General, so he just named the next one that. So he had General for a very long time in 3 separate dogs. It's a little awkward.
Yeah, to me it's a little awkward. Like if you say like General the first, the second, the third. Yeah. Okay, I accept that. It's like a lineage of the dogs you own.
Right.
But when it's just General, actually, your guys' opinion down in the comments.
Yeah.
Should you name a dog the same name as previous dogs in your life? Or is that okay? Or is it like, no, don't tarnish their name. You got to think of a new name.
Or if it's not necessarily, what if you name a dog after someone else in your family's pet that is no longer with us? Like you're just like, oh, that's a really cute name. Maybe ask them first before you use their deceased pet's name, I guess.
I don't know. This is a weird thing that's like same as when parents that are expecting a baby, like the taboo of like those names.
Yeah.
Because if they ever like say, because I remember there was an episode of Scrubs.
Oh no.
Have you ever seen that show?
I'm aware it exists.
Where Turk and Carlita, I believe, were expecting a child.
I don't know any names. You don't need to explain who they are.
This couple who's married, expecting a baby, gets pregnant, all that stuff. They tell the JD, the other main character, the name, and they're all doctors in a hospital, except for the wife is a nurse. But anyways, so then what happened was JD was like playing around with the kids, and they got a hamster, and then they're like coming up with a name for the hamster, and then he says the name that they were going to name their child.
Oh no!
And then there was a bit in the episode where they were like freaking out, I was like, well, we can't name our baby after the hamster because the hamster came first. And then it became a thing of like, I think near the end or something like that, they're like, oh, the hamster's dead. We could use the name now.
Oh my gosh. Hamsters are amazingly fragile.
Oh, they are. But it's that weird superstition that like some parents do about naming their child. I understand like I can never name my child any name that of someone I hated in my life.
Understandable. Yes, definitely.
It's like
because you already have bad emotions with that name. You don't want that with your child.
Also, it's that myth that like if you name them a certain name, they act in par with that name.
I guess, yeah.
Even though I think that's a stupid superstition.
Doesn't make any sense.
Where it's like, oh, if you're named Brandon, you're a POS.
No.
And it's like, then because you met someone who is a PS, you're afraid that if you name your child that they're going to be like them.
Right.
It's weird. Superstitions.
Yeah. I just remember when my sister-in-law was pregnant with her daughter, she refused to tell anyone, even her own mother, what the baby's name was going to be. And it actually became a big game to try to guess what the baby's name was going to be. Oh. And I'm not going to say the baby's name here, but it ended up being a name that she like altered. It's not a normal name. Like it's not your average name. It's a cute name, but it's not one people would guess.
Before we start our actual podcast.
Yeah, that thing that we do.
Quick, like, I'm going to state my opinion.
Okay.
When it comes to pregnancies and all that stuff. I do not care about your gender of your baby.
Right.
Baby reveal parties are stupid. All of them are stupid.
I know. I'm behind you on that.
I am completely against them. Just who cares what the gender is?
Mm-hmm.
If you find out soon or you find out on delivery, it doesn't change anything.
Right.
As long as the baby is healthy and all that stuff, it doesn't matter what their gender is.
Yeah. If I ever have a baby, we're not doing any stupid gender reveal thing.
You, Tiffy, ever like somehow get pregnant and want the child, huge hypothetical.
Right. Because I don't plan on it, so it's definitely up in the air.
I do not care what is the gender of your baby. I'm going to flat out tell you this right now.
Okay.
I do not care.
I'm fully on board with you with this.
Cool. You have a kid. That's it. They're born. Let me know their name. I'll come visit. That's it. Like,
okay.
Who cares if it's a boy or a girl?
Right.
While in your stomach.
Yeah, the only thing, like, the only reason I would ever find out would just be so we can have a name planned. Because my parents had no idea what I was going to be. And didn't have a name picked out.
That's the only thing you want to do like beforehand. It's like, okay, if you just want to tell people, fine. But don't make a big event out of it.
Right. And honestly,
I might be just old and grouchy, but...
Gender reveals have started far too many forest fires for me to be okay with it.
Or litter so many like places and all that stuff.
But the fact that gender reveal parties have at least started 2 forest fires that I know about, that's too many.
Anyways. This was a long intro.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So,
rant closed.
Let's just roll on our normal quest board list. Got dice?
I'm holding them.
Okay.
87.
I feel like we've done that before.
Really?
We have not. But it's very long.
Oh my.
I hate the long ones.
Mm-hmm.
A set of seemingly
innocuous,
thank you, symbols is carved into the side of a barrel underneath the board. All in thieves' camp. The symbols are being used for a purpose they're very much not meant for. And the message is patchy and uncertain. Dangerous area. Owner not home. Owner is vigilant. Meaning, one for the rogues. The local thieves guild has found that their mission in the area has ended poorly. Their new recruits are raving about some kind of spirit. And the veterans insist that something just isn't right.
Okay. This is a quest board for thieves only.
Yes.
Okay, so the quest itself is that the Thieves Guild, people are either going missing or coming back in pieces or, just not.
They're just being spooked away.
Spooked, yeah.
By some kind
of spirit. And the veterans insist that something just isn't right, wherever this is.
We could end this real quick.
Uh-oh.
What happens if this is a Scooby-Doo situation? Where it's just like the old caregiver, like what happens if their heist is for like an abandoned old mansion that's like there's supposed to be treasure in the basement or something like that, and it's just the old caregiver of the just spooky, like do a whole Scooby-Doo thing.
Yeah, just grab an episode of Scooby-Doo and just have that be your inspiration.
Done.
Right,
thanks for listening, guys.
That's the episode. Happy questing.
That was my first thought.
Okay.
It was just a stupid, like, oh, we could make this Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. That's a thought. That's a possibility. Roll with it however you wish.
Besides that?
There's something in this person's house.
Well, it says mission in the area have ended. It doesn't say a house or anything.
True. And, like, I know it says, like, dangerous area, owner not home, owner is vigilant.
No, that's just thieves' camp.
I know, that's the thieves' camp. Like, that's the part the regular people can read.
Mm-hmm.
But could that mean something too? Like it's actually someone's house they're breaking into, or is it?
Well, usually thieves camp means something completely different, and it has the meaning where it's just a diversion because it
Gotcha. That's
looks
true.
like just random jumbles for someone who's not a thief or
Okay, so
a
the
rogue.
main like part of this is missions in the area have ended poorly.
One for the rogues. The local thieves guild has found that their mission in the area has ended poorly.
Yeah. And then
Their
the
new recruits are
recruits
raving about some kind of spirit, and the veterans insist that something just isn't right.
So when they send new people at this or like out in the field to do stuff,
Yeah, so we
they
can
come back
determine what the
spooked.
job is.
It's not just one job. It sounds like all jobs being taken right now.
Yeah, plural missions.
Yeah.
So, what is called in that somewhat could be perceived as spirits?
Batman.
What was that episode? The Copper Crusader.
It's Batman. He's taking out someone's going around. It doesn't have to be Batman, but someone's going around taking out the local thieves guild, and new recruits are getting hit the worst because they're the most obvious, whereas the veterans are like, something ain't right here.
Oh, I just thought of something funny we
What?
could do. Weapons if the party just coincidentally keeps like this is in like a city, let's say a bigger city.
Mhm.
They just by coincidence keep stumbling upon these like thieves or bandits or whatever,
Mhm.
and they naturally stop them and all that stuff. You know, free XP, collect the loot and all that stuff. But usually parties don't leave people traces behind. They don't leave like witnesses because they usually kill all the bad guys.
Right.
What happens if it turns out like they're the spirits or it just ain't right because they just like to wander around and then they turn out to be the boogeyman for the local thieves guild.
That only works if your party is actively doing that, though. And also, this
Well,
quest
you can
only
set
works.
it up.
This quest only works if someone in your party can read Thieves' Cant.
That's also true.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be a funny twist when the party realize,
That
oh,
would
they're
be a
afraid
funny
of
twist,
them.
yeah.
And so then if they don't realize it in the beginning, they have to hunt themselves without knowing they're hunting for themselves
That would be
to help
funny.
out with the thieves guild.
I do have an alternate twist that I thought of.
Okay.
Someone like in a clergy or somewhere like in some, I don't know, something holy has been enacted, like a ritual or something has been cast on this town, so that when people commit crimes or do like a shady act or something like that, they get basically attacked by like holy servants or like summoned creatures that just pop up out of nowhere and take them out, or depending on the severity of the crime, reprimand them or something like that. So that's where you can get the spirits from.
So basically a larger version of spirit guardians.
Essentially, yes. Like a giant spirit guardian thing.
A
With the trigger
homebrewed
being,
version of that spell.
yeah, with the trigger being crimes. Because that could affect the party too.
Or hostility.
Yeah.
Like it's the protection of like any attacking of hostile actions that will harm someone.
Yeah.
We could go down that route, I guess.
Yeah, and it could have been like the church has been building up to like doing this to stop the rampant crime that's been running
could say
free
that
in the city.
this city is like governed by the church, by the temple, whatever fantasy religion you want to input here.
Right.
In which they state like the rule of like this is a peaceful state, no harm comes to others. Like that's like number one law in this city.
Yeah. And if you break it, God will know.
And so what happens if like that is a newer rule that just came out?
Yeah.
And so then the Thieves Guild don't fully understand what's going on.
Yeah. They didn't have someone like a plant or something in there because you gotta actually believe to get in.
Well, if this is fancy and all that stuff, it's hard to not believe in it. And
right.
Like, in order to actually get possessive power, the god actually has to bestow powers onto you.
Mm-hmm. Your
and
belief
that's
has to be
hard
real
do
at that point. Yeah.
And so, yeah, that'll be impossible to infiltrate.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's two separate ideas that could go. Either it's the party doing this, like if you have a party that's going around town beating up criminals.
Well, that one we probably won't get to do at like input a lot because
right.
The DM just needs to set up small situations where then they
and
stop them and all that.
if your party actually does it, then you can give them this quest and have them hunt themselves for a little bit. And I find that hilarious. But if they're not actively fighting crime, essentially, in town, the Holy Warriors one could be a thing where the church is taking it upon themselves to stop all the crime in the city.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is, you have to pick a lane before they enter the city.
Right.
Because if it's the Spirit Guardian spell, then that has to be a rule from the beginning when they just arrive that's just been enacted. That means that if they try to stop anyone, they're going to be punished as well. Because it's very binary.
Right.
It doesn't see like, oh, you're defending someone else. You caused harm onto another person.
Right. And I feel like it wouldn't be that they'd keep attacking. It would just be one smite, essentially.
Yes. It'll basically like, and you could flavor this as like angelic beings, like, you know, the heel person with like wings and all that stuff standing on the rooftop. And it was just like a thrown spectral javelin or something like that thrown down. You could flavor that however you wish,
Right.
depending on what religion or deity that temple worships.
Exactly.
You could flavor that. And it'll just be a single attack. You lose, like, doesn't miss. You lose like 2d6 or how many, depending on the level.
Right.
You just lose that much hit points.
Would the church like enacting this be something that needs to be stopped, or would it just be something the players have to deal with? I think that's where the
players have to react on their own, because it depends on if they're a good party, evil party, or anything like that. If they find out and then they just tell the Thieves Guild, then the Thieves Guild could then say, hey, we'll pay you if you could stop this, because it's really hurting our operations, because we're also muggers and all that stuff.
Right. And then it's up to them whether or not they want to take...
If a civilian isn't worried for their life, why would they turn over their money?
Exactly. It's like, you're not going to do anything. You can't hurt me. If you do, that thing's going to get you.
And so then they could give them that, like the party, and depending on the party's reaction, or... they might not have a rogue at all, and this will just be completely useless.
Exactly. It really depends on whether or not someone in the party can read.
I think the concept of the Spirit Guardians is always an interesting concept. Put this in your campaign if you have a rogue.
Well, it doesn't have to be a rogue, actually. I've got a bard who can read Thieves' Cant. It's just someone who can read Thieves' Cant.
Actually, wasn't my hex bard that I have? I took the invocation where I could read all languages. Would Thieves' Cant count as a written language?
Yeah, it counts as a language.
So then that would count under that?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So then if you just have to make sure at least one person can read that.
Yes.
Or else this is pointless.
Right.
Unless you want to do that idea of, you know, Spirit Guardians for the entire city. But besides that, is there anything else for us to add then?
Not really. Like, I was thinking like the city could just be known as the Holy City, and insert city name here, whatever you want to call it, but the Holy City of such and such. Because it's like it can just be known for being run by
it could have been
I don't know how to say it.
It could have been like a site of a holy act.
Yeah.
Like I have a homebrew world that where it's a peninsula in which there's a huge mountain with a huge cut down the center.
Nice.
And in the lore of that world, I said it so that it was a active volcano that was spewing ash, and so it was covering the land. So then there was like underdark creatures and like drow and all that stuff living on the surface, until Mystra, the god of magic, enchanted a sword that actually cut that, and so it stopped it. And so then I also put a city at that base of the mountain that kind of goes up it, and I made that where it was more of a religious city, but they were worshiping magic in general.
That's neat.
And so I could go in deeper, but basically I made that a holy site where she cut a mountain to then make this land habitable for those people.
Do you remember what you named the city?
No, because I was just a random generator.
Okay, because my brain named the city, and I didn't want to like jump to that if you'd already named it.
I did name it, but I just don't remember the name.
Oh, my brain says it should be called Ash Haven.
Actually, I think I named a different city similar to that because there's a ashen plain where there's another volcano still spewing up ash. Anyways.
Yeah, and that city is a haven
Homebrew.
from the ash. Anyway, yeah.
Well, I did the whole thing of like ash is used a lot for like agricultural things.
It is.
So
It's
then
very
I made
handy.
that city where a lot of their production is where they go out into the fields and collect the ashes and then like ship it to farms and all that stuff.
That's actually pretty cool.
I know, right? Homebrew worlds.
I hope to play in it someday.
Maybe. I still have the map somewhere in one of my computers. I can show it to you afterwards. But yeah, it's like you can make holy sites based off just random events or anything like that. You could imply that in any history of your world.
So what holy event created this city that we're talking about now?
Well, it depends on the god that they choose.
Oh,
we can't really determine that.
Okay, fine. Give the DM more work.
Yes, but we try to do like some cookie cutter things.
Right.
Or templates so that anyone could put this in theirs.
Some cataclysm was about to happen. The gods stopped it, or something was going on, and just a very, very holy event happened in this city. And maybe somewhere in the center is a temple dedicated to that, or built around the site of whatever happened.
Yes. Or it could just be a city that was ran by the church or established by the temple for whatever reason.
Kind of like how that one town had a statue of a guy holding up a rock in our episode Taken for Granted.
Oh, that's right. But that was a small town, and it was just a festival.
Yes, and it was just a hero that saved the city, but like cities will cling to something like that and build statues for it. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Okay. Tie it all in.
Yeah.
No, it's not even a tie-in. It's just a reference.
Yeah.
But, okay, I don't think we could really add anything else to that.
Not too much more now.
A city where you can't do harm.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting twist.
It is an interesting twist. And something that the players will have to navigate around and figure out.
Right. And it's like you can't even
or
harm
die.
the bad guys.
Nope. And so, yeah, that would be creative workarounds. Unless you have someone in your party that just loves fights and battles and would hate that.
Yeah.
Like a certain someone I know. Anyways, if you put this in your campaign, let us know how your players circumvented the no fighting laws in the city. And it could be within city walls only. Let us know how creative your players are by letting us know down in the comments of this YouTube video, on X at QuestBoardPod, or on Blue Sky at QuestBoard. If you have a posting of your own that you want us to make a quest out of, let us know on any of those sites. And with that, I wish you all a good night.
And happy questing.